Hey y'all, today is Friday, October 22nd, and we are doing a review on lesson 3-4. Now this review is a hint, hint, wink, wink for your Savvas lesson quiz, so I would definitely take good notes so that you can use them on your quiz to help you out. So number one, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. At noon, a tank contained 20 inches of water. After several hours, it contained 15 inches of water. What is the percent decrease of water in the tank? Okay, so this is a percent change problem, and I've already written our formula for percent change. It's new minus original divided by the original. So we're going to be using that formula for pretty much all of these problems here. Now, we have to determine which quantity is our new one and which one is our original quantity. So we know that the tank started with 20 inches of water, but later on it only had 15 inches of water. So 15 is our new amount. So I'm going to write 15 first, and from that I'm going to subtract our original 20. And I'm going to divide that all by the original amount 20. So now that I've got that set up, I'm ready to simplify and solve. So 15 minus 20, whether I do that in my head or I put that in my calculator, I know I'm going to have -5, and I still divide that by 20. Now -5 divided by 20, whether you put it in your calculator or figure out in your head, it's going to be -0.25. Well, how do I write that decimal as a percentage? Well, I'm just going to move that decimal point two times to the right. That's the same as multiplying times 100. Now, because it's negative right here, I know it's a percent decrease, but it also told me that in the problem. So I just need to give the percent of that decrease. And we know it's 25%. So in my Savvas lesson quiz, I would just type 25%. I would not make it negative. Moving on to number 2. Sophie likes to collect stickers. Last week she had 18 stickers in her collection. Now she has 25 stickers in her collection. What is the percent increase of her collection? Okay, so we're still using the same formula. So I have to look at my quantities and determine which one is my new quantity and which one is the original. So last week she had 18 stickers, but now this week she has 25 stickers. So I know that 25 is my new quantity. So I'm going to start with 25. So 25 minus our original quantity, which we said was 18. So 25 minus 18, and I divide all of that by 18. Now I'm going to simplify this. 25 minus 18. Whether you put that in your calculator or you do it in your head, you should get 7. So 7 divided by 18. Well, when you take 7 and divide by 18 in your calculator, you should get 0.38, and that 8 is repeating. 0.38 repeating. Now, how do I write that decimal as a percent? Well, I just move that decimal twice to the right. That's the same as multiplying times 100. So I'm going to have 38%, but because that's a repeating 8, I'm actually going to write it as 38.8%. So 38.8 repeating percent, and we know it's an increase. Everything was positive, but it also told us in the problem right here, what is the percent increase? So I'm just going to write it as 38.8 repeating percent. And in your actual Savvas quiz, you won't have any that have repeating digits. So don't fret about that. Okay, in number 3, a town's population of children increased from 452 to 496 during the past year. Write an equation to find the percent increase. So we don't have to solve anything. All we have to do is set up our problem here. So I still need to identify which quantity is our new quantity and which one is our original quantity. Well, I know that the town's population of children started at 452 and then became 496. So 452 is my original and 496 is my new. So to write my equation, remember it's new minus the original. So P equals, and I'm using P for population, by the way, but P equals our new value, so 496, minus our original value, 452, all divided by the original value, which is 452. And now we have set up our equation, so we are done with our problem. That right there is our answer. Okay, moving on to number 4. The value of an autographed jersey increased from $65 to $99. What is the percent increase in value of the autographed jersey? Okay, and they also tell us that our answer should be a percent rounded to the 100th place value. So I know I need 2 places. Okay, so let's figure out which quantity is our new one and which one is our original. Okay, so the jersey increased in value from 65, that's our original, to 99. So 65 is our original, 99 then is our new. So I'm going to set this up like I've set up all the others. We take our new value, 99, and we subtract our original value, 65, from it. And I divide all of that by 65, the original. Now I'm ready to simplify. 99 minus 65, if I were to put that in my calculator, I would get 34, and I'm going to divide that by 65. Now, 34 divided by 65, when I put that into my calculator, I get a rather long decimal. I get 0.523076923. And it might even continue past that, but that's what my calculator gave me. Now I know I need to turn this into a percent. So from a decimal to a percent, I'm going to move this decimal point twice to the right. That's the same as multiplying by 100. So I'm going to have 52.30%, right? So 52.307%. Now, our problem told us to round to the 100th place value, but I wrote it out to the 1,000th place value. Well, here's why. I need to look at that 7 to determine if I need to round anything. And because that is a 7, what do you think I want to do with this? Oops, I don't know why I did that. With this 0 right here. Well, I want to round it up. So my final answer then is going to be 52.31%. And we don't need to identify that's an increase because it already says in the problem what is the percent increase. So I'm just going to leave my answer as 52.31%. Okay. Number 5. A newborn baby weighed 7.5 pounds at birth. The baby's current weight is 7.2 pounds. What is the percent decrease in weight? So I need to determine which value is my new value and which one's the original. Well, the baby weighed 7.5 pounds at birth, so that right there is my original. But now the baby is 7.2 pounds, so that right there is my new. So I'm going to set this up using our formula, new minus the original. So 7.2 minus 7.5, all divided by 7.5. So now I'm ready to simplify. 7.2 minus 7.5 is going to give me negative 0.3. And I'm going to divide that by 7.5. So negative 0.3 divided by 7.5, when I put that into my calculator, I will get negative 0.04. Okay, but that is a decimal, and I want it to be a percent. So to make it a percent, I'm going to multiply by 100, or just move this decimal twice to the right. So it's going to go behind that 4. So I know it's going to be 4%. Keep in mind, it's negative, but I don't need to write that it's negative percent because it's already asking what is the percent decrease. We already know that it's a decrease. So I'm just going to write my answer as 4%. Okay, number 6. A bodybuilder consumed 5,600 calories yesterday. Today he consumed 4,800 calories. What is the percent decrease in the number of calories consumed? And it tells us to round to the nearest percent. Okay, So we need to determine which quantity is our new quantity and which quantity is our old quantity. So yesterday he consumed 5,600 calories, but today, the current day, he consumed 4,800 calories. So 5,600 is our original, and that means that 4,800 is our new. So we're going to set this up like we've set all the others up before. So we're going to start with our new amount, 4,800, and subtract from that the original, 5,600. And I'm going to divide that by the original amount, 5,600. So now I am ready to simplify. So 4,800 minus 5,600. If I put that into my calculator, I'm going to get negative 800. And I'm going to divide that by 5,600. So I'm ready to keep on going. So I'm going to put this into my calculator. We have negative 800 divided by 5,600. And I get another long decimal. I'm going to have negative 0.14285 7143. And it might keep going, but that's just where my calculator cuts it off. Okay, but it told me to round to the nearest whole percent. So first I want to change this from a decimal to a percent. I already know in my problem that it's a percent decrease, so I don't need to identify that in any way. So I'm actually going to kind of forget about that negative out in front of it. I'm going to record it as a percent and only a percent. Okay, so to change it from a decimal to a percent, I'm going to move that decimal once, twice to the right. So it's going to go in between the 4 and the 2. So I would write this as 14.28%, right? But it told me to round to the nearest whole percent. So because that's a 2, I'm not going to round anything up. I'm just going to leave it as 14%. So 14% is the change, that is the percent decrease for this bodybuilder's calories consumed. 14% decrease. Okay, and last one, number 7. The table shows the participation in a school's debate club during the last 4 years. Between which 2 years did the club see the greatest growth? So, and then we also have to determine by what percent did it grow. So when I look at my answer choices, A and B say that the greatest growth was between years 3 and 4, and C and D say that the greatest growth was between years 1 and 2. So I'm not even going to look at between years 2 and 3 because that's not relevant. So let's start with A and B. They say that the greatest growth was between years 3 and 4. So in order to set this up, we're going to start with years 3 and 4. So years 3 to 4. Okay, when I look at our table, I'm focused on these numbers here. Which one is my new and which one's the original? Well, new would be year 4, and that means that our original is year 3. So 33 is new and 25 is the original. So we're going to have 33 minus 25 divided by 25. Well, when I start to simplify this, 33 minus 25, that's going to be 8. So 8 divided by 25. When I put that into my calculator, I'm going to get 0.32, which when I turn that into a percentage is going to be 32%. So I know that the growth from year 3 to year 4 was 32%. So already I can eliminate B because it says that the growth between those years was 8%. Well, we know that that's not true, so I can eliminate B. Okay, now I'm going to look at the years 1 and 2 to see if that might have an even greater growth. So for years 1 and 2, I'm focused on 14 and 19 as my quantities. Which one is my new and which one's the original? Well, 19 in year 2 would be the new, and that means that 14 in year 1 would be the original. So between years 1 and 2, We already established that 19 is our new amount, so 19 minus 14 divided by 14. Well, when I simplify this, 19 minus 14 is going to be 5, and 5 divided by 14, when I put that into my calculator, I'm going to get another long decimal. I'm going to have 0.35 714 2857. And it's going to keep on going, but that's just where my calculator cuts it off. So let's make that a percentage. To make that a percentage, I'm going to move that decimal once, twice to the right, so it's going to go in between that 5 and that 7. Now, because that's a 7, should I round up this 5? Oops, I don't know what it just did. Should I round up that 5? Yeah. So let's actually record this as 36%. It was a 36% increase. Well, 36 is bigger than 32. So I now know that A is not the correct answer. So the greatest growth did not happen between years 3 and 4. I know that the greatest growth happened between years 1 and 2, and that growth was 36%. So D is my answer. The correct answer is D. So I'm going to box that in. And that is the end of our lesson 3-4 review. Flip your paper over so that you can work on your Sabbath lesson quiz.